I need a motion, second, to move into public session.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? I would like to ask everyone to stand to do the pledge of allegiance, and in a moment later for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh my goodness, look at all those young faces. I wish I was young again. Roll call, please.
Student Council Rep Nicholas Kenny. Here. Ms. Monica Manzi, Assistant Superintendent for Special Education.
Present.
Mr. Dean Middleman, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Oh, he's here. Okay. Mr. Reza Kolhifar, Interim Assistant Superintendent for Administration and Personnel.
Present.
Mr. Lawrence Light, Interim Assistant Superintendent for Business and Operations.
Present.
Dr. Linda Adams, Superintendent of Schools.
Present.
Ms. Mylan Autolus, Board President.
Present.
Ms. Eileen Pamko, Board Vice President.
Present.
Mr. Mark Warshaw, Board Trustee.
Present.
Ms. Jacqueline Alcantara, Board Trustee. Ms. Lee Kennedy, Board Trustee. And myself, Mary Jane Button, District 5.
Are there any changes to the meeting?
Now,
Okay, I need a motion and second for the minutes of the September 3rd, 2019 board meeting. Motion? All in favor? Okay, now on to the fun part. To recognize and honor you guys.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Could you hear me all those other two times? Could you just let me do it again? So, this is one of the proudest nights that we have in Connect Our Schools. It's nights that, like this, where we look at what our mission is. And our mission is to have our students be as successful as it is possible for them to be. A few years ago, we started the Student Club. It was a club that was rare to have students get a perfect score on a Regents exam. That first year, we had 7 students get perfect scores on Regents exams. This year, we had 36. So I look and I think about that, and I think about the work that we have undertaken as a district in creating rigorous curriculum in the professional development program for our teachers, K through 12, in the curriculum writing that our staff has undertaken over the course of the summers, in the rigorous curriculum that we put on the ground with great teaching, so that you folks can take that and run with it and be as successful as you possibly can be. It is with undue pride. I am so humbled by the talent and the level of success that has been achieved in this room, because we are going to tonight look at and honor 46 students who got 5s on one AP exam last year, 8 students who got 5s on 2 AP exams last year, 1 student who got 5s on 3 AP exams last year, and 2 students who got 5s on 4 AP exams last year. This is unbelievable hard work. It is not by accident that you do this well. It is absolutely by the hard work that you have put in, and the hard work of you as your teachers, and the support of your parents in their homes. So students, are there any teachers in the room today? Please stand up. Please stand up because we want our students to thank you. I also want all our students, because really the first teacher are your parents. They started from the second that you were born, and they have helped you be as successful as you possibly can be. So students, would you please give your parents a round of applause? So I know I have a couple students who are on their way back from some of our contests. We have very successful programs all over the district, whether it's arts and music or athletics. But tonight is about academics, so I'm going to hold the AP results just for a second because I know that there are some students who are back coming from context one. We'll start with our 100 So the first year that we did this Super 700 Club, we had 2 students get 100 on the Common Core Algebra 1 regions. This year we have 10 students get 100 on the Common Core Algebra 1 regions. So I'm just going to ask you to hold your applause till the very end of those 10 or 12 when they come up and get the certificate. Joseph Catalano, Alex Denarosa, Edward Feisler, Jonathan Grenchi, Gavin Maron, Leon Maron, Tyler McCarthy, Anthony Pepitone, Sean Rogali, and Caitlin Smith. Please come up and get your certificate. Please give them all a round of applause. Next, we will recognize the 17 students who received a 100 on the Common Core English Language Arts Reading exam. Please hold your applause to the end. Come on up, kids, as we call your names. Andrea Bradley, Joseph Brimlow, Leon Chen, Viper Otas, Patrick Davis, Laurel Edwards, Brady Ferguson, Ethan Forberg, Janelle Boston, Atif Khan, Alexander Kosek, James Marin, Jean-Pierre Moulton, Joshua Perone, Madeline Pillager, Chelsea Sankaran, and Micah Variali. Please come up and get your certificate.
Ready, you guys up? Sure. Thank you guys.
Congratulations. We had one student receive 100 on the Common Core Geometry Entrance exam. And I'm going to really probably kill her name because it's this beautiful name that I know I'm not going to say it right. Mingyu Xia? Not here? So she's not here for me to have to kill her name. Okay, we'll make sure that she gets that. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay, we have 5 students who got a perfect score on the Global History Transition exam. Chase Adamo, Michael Hansen, Isabella Ibrahim, Daniel Teller, and Allison Palla. Please come down. By the way, this is Daniel Teller, not Teller with T, with an M, and he got 100 on the Global History exam. Let's take
Thank you.
We had one student get 100 in the physical setting chemistry regions. That is Jenna Morcott. We also had 2 students get 100 on the U.S. History and Government Readings exam. Sebastian Gouveia and Aiden Smith. Come on up. And last but certainly not least, we had 2 young ladies who got 100s on 2 separate Regents exams. They both got 100 on both the Common Core English Language Arts exam and the U.S. History and Government exam. Please give a big round of applause to Paige Adamo and Amanda Perone. I'm going to ask Mrs. Hanley to come on down for the next set of awards.
Good evening, everybody. The Class B exam is a checkpoint level B exam that students take after either 5 years or 6 years of studying the language. They reached a high level of knowledge in speaking and understanding either French, Spanish, or Italian. And I'm really proud to say that we have a group of students who have earned 100 on these exams. So I'm really happy to be here tonight, and I'd like to personally thank every one of you, and in addition to the regions 100 and everybody else who's listening.
So tonight we have 10 students in the district that received 100 on the class exam. In French, we had Mackenzie Waite. In Italian, we had Emily Oswald, Janine Hernandez, Denise Lamacora, Matthew Vescolo, and Sean Reynolds. Come on down. And in Spanish, we had Leon Chen, Nicole Dean, Jenna Marcotte, and Sebastian Salada. Please come on down. Oh, sorry, buddy. So every year we ask our administrative staff to create goals to make sure that our kids are being successful. And one of the goals that was in place for the last few years was to increase the level of participation of our students in AP exams, and then to increase the scores that those students achieve in those AP exams. And from the 51 students who received 5s on at least one AP exam, it seems that that goal is absolutely being met. So let me begin. I'm going to go by content area. And I'm going to ask you to come on down when your name is called, and just please hold your applause to the end. There's a large group of students here, and we want to recognize them all. In biology, Ethan Zhang. In computer science A, Saeed Rahman. In English language and composition and psychology, there are 2 exams, Joseph Burnell. In English language and composition, Ethan Hansen. In English language and composition, Nicholas Ketty. In English language and composition and U.S. history, Madeline Pittinger. In English language and composition, Jake Scatterentia. Come on down, folks, and call your names. In environmental science, Emily Zlevia. In human geography, psychology, U.S. history, and English language and composition, Paige Adamo. Come on down. In music oral subscore and music theory, Robert Alvarado. In music oral subscore, Alicia Donlin. In music oral subscore, music non-oral subscore, and music theory, Paul Pacino. In psychology and statistics, Jeremy Bertolet. Come on down, please. In psychology, Ashley Dupin. In psychology, Azalea McAdam. Psychology, Brooke Perillo. psychology, Edward Salazzo. In U.S. history, Saida Afghani. In U.S. history, Hannah Cousin. Please come on down. In U.S. history, English language and composition, physics, and psychology, Vikro Das. In U.S. history and English composition, Colleen Marzo. In U.S. history and psychology, Elena Drennan. In U.S. history and English language and composition, Tony Elena Gallo. In United States history, Kaylee Gross. In United States history, Audrey Joseph. In United States history, English language and composition, Atif Khan. In United States history, Ethan Rothberg. In United States history, Ryan Waters. And in United States history, Gia Young. Please give them a round of applause. In world history, Chase Adamo. In world history, Jacob Danizer. In world history, Joseph DeRosa. In world history and European history, Joseph Duzak. In world history, Mark Hughes. In world history, Michael Hansen. In world history, Daniel Hoy. In world history and environmental science, Isabella Ibrahim. In world history, Jennifer Lacana. In world history, Anna Stahersky. And in world history, Kevin Wilk. Please give them all a round of applause. So can all my tall AP scholars come on down here? So we can put them all in the middle with the coral tilt going on? With the coral tilt. Make sure you're putting down someone who's having
Yeah, right there. You know, I got you. And then right there, just switch to your left leg. Can you go all the way and get over there? Thank you. All right, guys, back here up. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations, everybody.
Some of our students that completed summer internships at Brookhaven Lab. So if I could ask Abzar Hussain, Madeline Pittiger, Vikro Das, and Melissa Oz to come down. And if I just make share a little bit about what these students have done. Abizar and Madeline work in the data center at Brookhaven Lab under the supervision of actually one of our ConnectBot parents, Mr. Lateef, who's a computer scientist at the lab. And Vipro and Melissa worked in protein crystallography with several students from other school districts, as well as our own science research teacher, Mr. Halloran, and just released by Brookhaven Lab in the last day or so, two of our former students are responsible for the sequencing of one of the proteins that they crystallized and added to the data bank. So this is cutting edge research, and we're so excited that our students have had the opportunity to be a part of that. So congratulations.
You guys on this? That's it.
Biggest language in the world. Good evening. Last spring, Tony Gallo and Trinity Harper, two of our Hancock High School juniors, were accepted into prestigious journalism programs during the summer of 2019. Tony Gallo was accepted into the Summer Journalism Institute at Stony Brook University, and Trinity Harper was accepted to Writing the Big City, Reporting in New York Summer Academy at the School of the New York Times. Please join me in congratulating these young journalists on their accomplishments. I'd like to invite Angela Breslin to the podium, she's in the audience tonight. I'll just take a moment to speak in broad terms about the Suffolk County Battle of the Books program. The program is an interlibrary competition between teens focused on 8 young adult novels. Teams can be no larger than 6 players and have been as small as 2 players. Held in August, the competition is divided into 3 back-to-back 4-hour regional competitions and then an awards night. The ConnectBot Library team earned a perfect score for first place in this year's Battle of the Books. The following team members up to be recognized for their efforts: Lilia Lavosi, Courtney DiCristofaro, Nadia Roddy, Kirsten Murphy, Olivia DiGatano, Chelsea Fife, Amanda Carone, Tessa Bollinger, Madison Colesmacher, Madeline DiGatano, Mohammed Hussein, Samir Umar, Akshat Kamboj, Joshua Carone, Lucas Martin, and Gaden Zachman. Congratulations.
all so handsome.
Have a great time, guys. You just kind of tilt the certificate this way, girls. Perfect. You guys on through. Congratulations.
I'd like to take an opportunity to recognize one of our kindergarten teachers from Duffield Elementary School, Mrs. Teresa Hewitt. If you're in the audience, would you come on down to the front? Carol, if you're in the audience, would you come on down? Mrs. Hewitt has been recognized as a 2019 Educator of Excellence by the New York State English Council, or NYSEC. The award honors those teachers who are leaders in the classroom, collaborators with colleagues, and mentors for teachers who are new to the profession. Ms. Hewitt will be honored at the NYSEC Awards Luncheon on October 18th in Albany. So next month she'll be receiving that honor. But we are so very proud of Mrs. Hewitt and her reception of this award. She truly embodies all of the qualities that I just listed, and we'd like to offer her our congratulations.
Can you come over to the closest one? Thank you. Congratulations.
Good evening. First off, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Central Administration for giving us this opportunity tonight to recognize some very outstanding special teachers and coaches. I'm very proud to say the New York State Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance has named 3 Connecticut School District physical education teachers as Teachers of the Year with Suffolk Zone Chapter. They've been recognized for inspiring their students to embrace all the key components of an outstanding physical education program, specifically those of fitness, out-of-time fitness, and healthy lifetime activities. They will be attending dinner in January at West Haven Country Club. I would like to bring all of them up because we are a true team and a true program, and just very briefly talk about each one. First, Tara West, would you please come up? Tara's been an outstanding physical education teacher for 19 years. She's currently in Boston. She's the coordinator of our sports intramural program there, and currently resides as president of the Connecticut Foundation for the Advancement of Children. Congratulations, Tara. Next, we have Leslie Sewell from Connecticut High School. Leslie has been teaching physical education for 17 years. She's coached multiple sports on all levels. She has been named Coach of the Year both JV varsity level. She's always an advocate and heavily involved with the Suffolk Zone. She's currently serving as vice president of the Suffolk Zones in our county. She has secured during her tenure 2 grants for our school district. Congratulations, Leslie. I'd like to introduce Mike Oldis from Rossi. Mike has been with us for 19 years. He coached football and wrestling for 15 years. He's currently serving as the coordinator for our summer sport camps. He's done that for the last 12 years. Congratulations to all 3 of our outstanding
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Next, we have a very outstanding coach to introduce. Coach Alex Chicarone has been named by the National Federation of State High School Athletic Associations. He's been recognized as the 2018-19 New York State Coach of the Year for boys swimming and diving. And he's also recognized by our county as the County Coach of the Year in 2018. His team this past year finished top 10 in New York State. Coach is a former Connecticut graduate. He has coached for 23 years during his tenure. He has led his teams to numerous county and state championships, league championships, and sportsmanship awards. You'd be the first to say it wasn't him, it was the kids, it was the parents, it was the community, and he has a special thanks to his outstanding assistant coach, diving specialist, Coach Jeff Shebler. Coach, your call.
Come on, girl.
Come on, girls, y'all.
That's everybody. Guys, right here on the front too. Awesome. Congrats, Coach.
And our final award of the night, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form to bragging about this, but this is a life or death situation. So our last honoree is Mrs. Lauren Drinkwater. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Bailey to come on down and bring Mrs. Drinkwater down. I don't think I've ever seen one of these better.
You've never been more embarrassed.
So, Ms. Bailey, why don't you tell us what happened? Come on over to the mic and tell us what happened.
Well, I guess I'll just say I've witnessed and heard many amazing and touching stories through my years in Connecticut, with teachers demonstrating how they go above and beyond for our kids every day, and we're just very lucky to have the level of dedication that we do from our educators in this district. And Mrs. Drinkwater is certainly one of them. And this is a story for the books, right? She used her instincts. She was keenly aware and ready, and she literally saved a student from choking in her classroom. She performed behind that. I mean, the details are just really just amazing, and so we just want to congratulate her and thank her for just going above and beyond and being heroic in her efforts. So on behalf of the Dorico family, on behalf of the OEMS family, and the entire school community, we thank you, Lauren, for your incredible heroism.
Thank you all for coming, and really, please celebrate your success. It is hard-earned, and please celebrate your success. What a wonderful group of students in this
Okay, so just really quick, I'll go over these two demos we have this week. We would like to thank you guys for the approval for the fireworks show. We are very excited for that on the 18th. As of right now, we're trying something a little bit different with homecoming and pep rally this year. Typically, we do pep rally on one day. We have changed the daytime, and that's the same thing for this year. And then homecoming, the throwing game will be the next day. What we're doing instead is we're going to pep rally during the day, as we have had in the previous years. And then the parade is going to be at 4:30 in the afternoon, and then the game will be at approximately 6:30, 7 o'clock, with fireworks to follow. That is on the 18th, yes. So that is what we have right now. So as of right now, we're just gearing up for that event. Lots of planning going forward, and we'll come back when we have more. But thank you.
Thank you. How are you starting off your new year as a senior?
It's exciting, very busy, but I'm having a good time.
Okay, I'm going to teach you about your mom up there. Your mom has been breaking up the tissues like nobody's business.
I'm sure, yeah.
So, yeah, I've been trying to help your mom, trying to get through this year, but it's going to be very difficult, Nico, I have to tell you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to... What discussion? Okay, we have the lunch program presentation. Sorry, forgive me, I don't have my glasses on. Finance, Nancy Control. on, it's on. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for entertaining a self-operation study that started a little while ago. First off, let me introduce myself. My name is Nancy Ann Padron. I have over 25 years' experience as a child nutrition director in several districts here on Long Island, all self-operated, beginning in Babylon and Cool Spring Harbor, Patchogue Methodist Schools, Sachem, and Brentwood. So all programs were self-sustaining during the time I was there, and I based my experience on presenting this to you. Next slide. Some questions to pose to the community and the Board of Education when you're looking at your self-operation of a child nutrition program is that to understand your school philosophy, and tonight it was clear the philosophy of this district and how many wonderful things are going on. And I believe that nutrition is a major part of any child's ability to succeed. And we measure success in many different ways, and that happens within a school lunch program as well. And some of those areas that we need to succeed in is the nutritional background and what's provided, the student involvement. Obviously, your budget and costs are very important. And what are the goals in the area of child nutrition? There are obviously two methods to running a child nutrition program, that being self-operated, where you have your own team that takes care of the program from menus to budget to student involvement. And then you have what you currently are involved with is a food service management contract. And the operation of school food service is very complex. Next slide. And the reason why it's complex is because you're operating a business within an educational system that operates on a profit and loss program. And it is very important to look at the revenue sources. It's not a fund allocated program. You're able to project your self-operated status based upon your current expenses and that of your food service management contract. A mock budget will assist in determining if self-operation is a viable alternative for your child nutrition program. You have to start with the mission statement for your program, and obviously that will be drawn from your school's mission statement and your district mission statement. The most important part of a successful child nutrition program is the local management that is, and the staff that make it work, and with the support of the Board of Education and administration. There's an importance to understanding the many entities that are available for the child nutrition program. And part of the importance of qualified personnel for the management of the program. So the question that we go to is, how do you move forward? What we did was, next slide please. What we did was look at your current management, food service management program. You've been under this contract for many years, and it has been very successful for your school district. What you want to look at within this program is the student involvement. Are the students happy with the program? What can be addressed for improvement, and why consider self-operation? Approximately a year ago, I met with the school business administrator and two of the representatives from the Board of Education to discuss moving over to a self-operated child nutrition program. In January, the food service management contract was presented to the Board of Education and showed their success here. In May of this year, I was able to visit 3 of the schools and evaluate the program. And that brings us to September, and is self-operation an option? So, next slide. Here are just a couple of pictures that I took from the elementary school and the middle school. In May of this year, I visited Cherokee
John Pearl Elementary, and a middle school. Impressive presentation of food was observed, many choices. Pizza station was well received, as well as the deli and grill areas in the middle school. The importance of the students' current impression of their food service and what type of survey may be conducted to determine any improvements to the food service management contract. Next. There are some facts that the benefits of school lunch have been indicated through USDA research, and children who participate in school lunch have superior nutritional intakes compared to those who do not. Healthy eating at school correlates to higher test scores and less absenteeism. And tonight, you kind of might have seen a lot of that with all of those awards. So that was wonderful. Next slide. When you're considering what makes a self-operation a great option, one is you're able to determine and hire your own management team, participate in national, state, and local events. Many planning can be based upon student preferences, increasing nutrition awareness within your schools, classroom activity, and farm to school. Through self-operation, you also have the support of USDA, the New York State Child Nutrition Program, the local Directors Association here on Long Island, and the Long Island Food Co-op, as well as training from the ICN, the Institute of Child Nutrition. Next slide. When we look at the bigger picture and how we work, menus are really what drives your child nutrition program. And you can include local preferences to those menus, as well as support our New York State agriculture. You have to train staff on new ideas and preparation, and promote the program like any other competitor would. You want to always check child acceptance and keep it going. You want to involve your community in your child nutrition program by including wellness committee members to bring forth information to the community, and to use all the resources that are available. Next slide, please. If you look a bit closer, a self-operating program must be self-sustaining by controlling the expenses of food, labor, and supplies. There are industry standards for all these areas, with food costs averaging 36 to 38% of revenue, and use of government commodities and diversion of the same will assist in meeting the necessary level of expense. Next slide. Procurement is a huge part of child nutrition program, also very large part of any review, administrative review that occurs. We have a benefit for our self-operating programs here on Long Island. It's the Long Island School Food Co-op. It's a consortium of 50 districts that are self-operated that procure all food, supplies, and equipment for school districts. Next slide. This is how you help to meet the fiscal needs of a self-operated program. The Long Island Food Co-op is a cooperative purchasing that currently has 50 members, as I just said. Since 1989 of its establishment, it started with 7 districts. It lowers the cost of goods. All the procurement regulations are met. It has been reviewed by administrative review to meet all procurement regulations. It reduces the manager's time spent on procurement because of shared responsibilities with 49 other food service directors. And this allows new programs to begin and promote participation. Next slide. Menus are what drive your child nutrition program. They're the driving force of any successful food service operation. What you do, what your customers would like to have. You gain through surveys, taste tests, participation in new products, training of staff, and staff knowledge of preparation and use of equipment. Through my visits to your schools, your kitchens are very well suited for preparation. And there really isn't a need for large
capital improvements in that area from the 3 schools I did visit. So your limitations within your kitchen are really not cause for any concern. Next slide. There are standards for school meals, whether you're food service management operated or self-op. These standards include the fact that fruits and vegetables are offered daily and in many different varieties. There are more whole grains, only fat-free or low-fat milk varieties are offered. There are calorie limits by grade, and there are limits on saturated trans fats and sodium. Next slide. School nutrition programs are not only the National School Lunch Program. You also have a small breakfast program here in your upper grades, but school breakfast is part of the school lunch program. Summer food service programs are operated in the area around Connecticut schools in other districts. There are also after-school snack programs and the fresh fruit and vegetable program that come under the National School Lunch Program. All of these being entities that can bring in revenue. Next slide, please. Your food service is a nonprofit. Food service, it maintains nonprofitability, meaning that all of the revenue goes back to improving the program. The programs exist for the children of the district. Funds may be used for program expenses or improvements, and any monies that fall to sort of a profit can be used to either improve food quality, increase in areas where additional equipment is necessary for the program to operate. Next slide, please. The nonprofit for a food service is to control and observe limitations on food service revenue, competitive foods, managing of finances is important. This is also part of the oversight necessary when you have a food service management company. And any of the monies from competitive food sales accrue to the nonprofit food service account. Next slide, please. Staffing is another area of expense, and this is based upon meals per labor hour. When you're staffing your current kitchens, you have school district staff already, and they are doing a fine job in your cafeterias. Next slide. Some things that are happening on Long Island through self-operated programs and a survey of some of our co-op schools is to promote healthy lifestyle events at schools such as health fairs and showcase the good nutrition and requirements for physical activity. Half Hollow Hills has a unity fair each year that they focus on allergen-free foods and also include Zumba and yoga classes. Working with student groups in focus group development to test food offerings to get kid-approved menus. Offering lunch from a kiosk near where students may be on a second floor, might not be able to get to the lunchroom, or near an outside area, making the meal easier to obtain and having shorter lines. After school snack program offered to students to receive reimbursement and also have additional sales of snacks for revenue and reimbursement of the sale of food. Next slide. On a timeline to go self-operation, you really need to look at 7 to 9 months. If you are interested in self-operation, there would be a need to hire a transitional person that would become your food service director and begin to look at the bidding and incorporation into the Long Island Food Co-op. The timeline for bids are about a year in advance. So in order to be part of the consortium, you do need to look a year in advance. Next slide, please. There are many resources available for self-operated programs, including the Office of Child Nutrition, the New York State School Nutrition Association, on a national level, the School Nutrition Association. There's Team Up for School Nutrition Success, the Institute of Child Nutrition,
team nutrition schools are very important, and the Smarter Lunchroom movement. All of this is available as resources for a self-operating program. Next slide. Do you have any questions?
How many years do we make a profit?
You can make a profit in your first year if it's operating properly. But you're really not making a profit, you're putting it back into the program.
Well, I mean, that's.
Yeah, to be self-sustaining, that can happen in the first year.
Okay, what districts do you normally do this in? Are they low poverty, high poverty districts, where you get a lot of reimbursement?
In the districts that I operated, we had different levels of free and reduced. Some were 14 to 20%, some were 70 to 80% free and reduced. So they have a completely different budget between the two, and also where you place your emphasis on how to increase participation.
I have a question. So last year, we are looking at a $350,000 loss.
Okay.
And I saw during your presentation where you said self-sustaining, and there is some money that actually goes back into help the program. Is $350,000 within the realm of other districts that are not in your consortium?
$350,000 loss? It depends upon what districts you look at.
We're supposed to be one of the, we're supporting, I was told, we're one of the districts that even though those 350,000 there, most of the districts supposed to run more than that.
I don't know the profit and loss of every district within self-operation.
Okay, so the district that you took over, do you recall what their losses were before you took, before you guided them to self-sustaining?
I'm currently in the Balhoun School District, and last year we were able to show a profit after 1 year of operation.
What were they before that?
20 years in deficit.
Is there less waste? Because I noticed there's a lot of waste, like sand. I mean, we're trying to think up waste.
That's probably an entire presentation on plate waste, and depending upon what students take on the tray, what's served, how it's presented. The USDA requires a fruit or vegetable to be on every tray for it to be reimbursable. So sometimes students don't want to consume that, and it does become waste. That's not, I mean, that's something that you could look at, but children do throw food away, unfortunately.
When we met together, you did talk about that, and you said that there were ways to present certain foods that kids didn't like to make it more
Yes, and
edible.
well, I don't know about make it more attractive. I think that
Tasty.
Yes, and I also believe that because of the increase in nutrition awareness and the fact that we do have to have a healthier diet. I mean, school food service has been in the news the last few days over bad meals that are served and chocolate milk. So do we eliminate chocolate milk? I mean, you can have a whole discussion on that in one evening. So there's so many entities and so many things that make a successful food service program, and they all just have to come together. And honestly, it has a lot to do with who's operating your program, who's overseeing it, and your staff that's working in the kitchens.
So when you said that you're about one currently and now it's a self-sustaining program,
Right.
what are the things that you saw that you needed to cut to achieve that?
I needed to utilize our government commodities to a fuller extent. I needed to make sure that when we looked at our direct diversion, that we diverted food and processed food into more acceptable products. I also had to look at staff and labor and also bring in more students.
Did they
increase
have their own
participation?
staff there, or did they-
Yes, it's a self-operated program.
No,
Small.
before that, before
Yes.
they came in.
Yes, they were always self-sustaining, but self-operating. Yes.
Okay.
It's a small district, 1,500, just over 1,500 students.
So when I had taken a tour about 2 years ago, I visited the high school and the middle schools, and I visited, I believe, 2 elementary schools. Probably get in trouble for saying this, but I don't, if we were up to $3.50 loss and my children were eating the food, then it's like, oh, okay, you know, but I'm at a loss at $3.50. I'm seeing a tremendous amount of waste. So something has to give here.
Right.
I mean,
I
that's
think
my
that
frustration.
you would have to look at the cost of labor, your cost of benefits, your, how much of your revenue is that taking? And then what is the food cost that is now handled by your food service manager?
Okay, so one of the things that you have mentioned was the meals per hour.
Meals per labor hour, yes, yes.
Did you explain
Well,
that?
meals per labor hour have to do with, one, the logistics within the individual school. So depending upon how many serving loads you have, how many stations you have that you're manning, and how many meals you're serving. Normally, if you're preparing on site, you want to have at least 19 to 21 meals per labor hour. If you're preparing off-site and just serving, that goes up. If you're preparing many foods from scratch, that might go down a little bit to 13 to 14 meals per labor hour. So you would take all of your labor and determine what you're currently spending in terms of how many meals per labor hour are you producing.
Okay, now, the food, is it quality food or is it lower grade food, you know?
Depending, you know, it doesn't have to be lower grade food. It's wholesome, nutritious food. And we're looking right now, just this school year, we no longer have a reduced price meal. It's at no cost to students. It's still, because New York State is going to reimburse us for that 25 cents. So that's going to, our reimbursement will be increased. So that now when you do your free and reduced applications, you still have a student that might be free and a student that might be reduced, but neither one of them will pay for their meals. Okay? And that's new to this school year. This could improve a la carte sales to some extent, and that's another revenue source. Other revenue sources that could be looked at are catering within the school district and doing events within the school district. So you do have other revenue sources to bring in to improve your revenue to meet your expenses.
Okay. I mean, I think I can say this for the rest of the world. Our goal is for the kids to look at the food and actually want to eat it.
Yes.
Not, you know, not take the
Well,
chicken
it's
nugget
not
off the
nutritious
plate
if they
and
don't
throw-
consume it.
Right, not take the chicken nugget off the thing and then throw the vegetable, the fruit, and the milk in the garbage.
Right.
You know,
It's
it's
like
like,
the shared packets from the other school. How do you
Oh,
stop
yeah,
the kid from
yeah.
doing that? That's from New Jersey. No, I know, but in New Jersey they do. That's why I wonder how they do it.
Is that allowed in it?
How do they deal with that? How are they getting away with it in the school? I have a school district.
There are some
In New
schools that
Jersey,
do,
Woodrow Wilson Elementary, they do.
they set up shared tables.
They do a share table. You introduce the share table. Students may place unused they have to be packaged items. And the share table gives the students who have finished their lunch but are still hungry. The share table is a great tool to help reduce food waste and help kids who may need a little more to get
that's packaged food.
I'm understanding like that stuff, but I'm saying this is like more of the fruits, the vegetables that are more like
That are packaged.
That are packaged.
The thing is
The
that if
juice,
you're
the
serving them
milk.
on the tray, you can't say, well, I
Can't take
didn't
them
eat
back.
that broccoli, so let me put it on the table.
No, you can't. But I'm saying the packaged things, that's what you do see in the garbage though.
You can see some of them, yes. So that would have to be looked at individually by the school and have a list of requirements as to how it acts. How does that table, or how is that represented? What happens when no one takes it, or only half of it is taken, does the rest, you have to determine how you're going to handle that. There are food safety issues with it at some point, so you want to be very careful.
So if I take broccoli, for example, some kids don't like the broccoli. But if you throw a little butter on it, a little cheese on it.
Yeah, we have to be careful with the
guidelines. I'm asking this question. The only reason why I'm asking this is, and again, I know it's totally different, private versus public. I do have a friend of mine who works in the private schools. And they brought in their the lunch consultant who came in, prepared the meals and stuff like that. And she was, I guess maybe at the private school, they have a little bit more leeway into what they can prepare as long as.
Well, it depends upon whether they're part of the National School Lunch Program or not. We are governed by the USDA, and we do have limits within caloric limits of what we can offer. And then we also have fat and sodium limits. So there are many recipes that have been developed over the last 7 years since the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act came into existence. So,
Let's take a broccoli.
right, and so with broccoli, you can season it, possibly have a seasoning table for the students to add their own seasonings. There are some ideas that could go along with making vegetables more palatable. I will say that if you put any vegetable sticks with some ranch dressing, it goes a long way. Kids really do like finger foods, so you have to address what do kids like, and it's often not large variety. There are very simple things that students like. And by providing that and making them meet their expectation when they come into your cafeteria, they'll come back again and again.
So then, now that that program's been successful in Babylon for a year, do you see a lot of waste in the garbage?
I see waste. You're never going to stop waste. I'm not going to say we don't see waste. We absolutely do. But we also try to offer a fruit or a vegetable that the students will consume. And although you're limited to how much juice you can offer, that is an option for a fruit serving. So you want to see if you can offer that. There's also options for dried fruits. And students sometimes like to have those, like raisins or craisins or things like that. So a variety of items and that the students will consume. But you'll never eliminate all waste.
I have a question, and it might be for you, Linda. Right now, with our management company, are we allowed to make those choices? Like, are our food service workers allowed to say, all right, well, they didn't really eat all those apples, can we do it a different way today? Or do we have to go with what Susan tells us?
So I don't know that answer, because that's usually done through the business office, all that, the vetting of those contracts, but you have some experts in the audience that we can ask in a little while.
I just want to make sure the board has all that questions.
Also, well, that is my question. I want that question answered.
What was the question?
Are you allowed to change the menu items if it's not being used, like, or eaten?
I believe when the cook managers go over the menu, they have the option of speaking with the food service director and saying, listen, my kids weren't eating this, can we try this? I believe they do that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That is an option for use. Usually because of the additional cost, you can put a premium lunch price to that so that you can cover that cost. It still would have to be free or reduced for those students that are approved for either category.
So it sounds to me that what you're doing is very similarly to what we're doing as far as offering and choices. I mean, you did visit our schools. I mean, can you say very similar what we're doing?
Yes, the schools, your programs look very nice in the schools when I visited them.
We have some great lunch programs.
I'm sorry?
Have some great lunch.
That you absolutely do.
So I don't know for this, but when you have a declining enrollment and you're still losing money every year, and that's increasing, so your enrollment's going down, but your deficit is increasing every year. I mean, 350 is pretty significant. This year was 2 and change. Am I going to look at 4 and change? And then when is it that I have to, talk to the taxpayers, and are we being fiscally responsible for having these kind of deficits?
You would have to look at your profit and loss statement, your monthly statements, and see where the money is being spent and where it can be controlled.
Now, is that something you were able to look at, or are you just viewing our schools?
I did not look at your fiscal budget based on what you contracted me to do. That is certainly can be done, and certainly can point out where you could possibly cut some costs. but I would need access to that information.
Are your prices comparable to the prices that they're offering out in the foods?
Yes. Yes, I think you're at $2.75 for lunch and $3. Is that correct?
No.
If we just went up to see, right?
310.
Okay.
310.
So what,
Every penny counts in school food service.
so what are you at now at Babylon?
275 and 3.
225 and 4. That's pretty significant.
Reduced lunch at
20%.
20%.
Free and reduced, yeah.
Yeah, so we're similar in that.
Yeah, but you're a larger school district. I would recommend looking at self-operated that are similar to your size districts and demographics. And I can certainly make those out for you.
Any questions from the board? Okay, any questions from the public?
I actually do. When you were discussing the kiosk, who would prepare the food that goes in the kiosk?
The kitchen staff, it would be grab and go usually.
Okay, 'cause
Grab and go seems.
we have a grab and go section, except, you know, there's a person manning it. It's not, you put your money in and it spits out a sandwich. That's what I.
Oh, no, that's a vending machine. A kiosk would be manned by an individual.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that.
There are opportunities for also vending meals as well.
Well, I did like the idea of the second floor with the kiosk, because a lot of kids don't take a lunch. So
They go to the library.
yeah, so the opportunity for them to not have to come down, come back up, I love that idea. So know what normally served at these kiosks?
Well, usually you do a grab and go lunch, so you'll put a sandwich in it, a fruit, a salad, and have milk on the side for, if they wish to have it, so that it'll be quick. The point of that is to increase participation without having students stay on a line. A lot of times when students go into secondary school, they don't want to wait on the long lines, so they'll bring their lunch or they won't. So we want to try and address those students that are not partaking of the service for other reasons in the food. It could be timing, it could be choices, it could be I have to study. So you want to see if you can even help get those individuals into your program.
So would you say it's a salad, it's a sandwich, it's a
Yeah,
fruit and a drink?
Yes. And it would have the components of, there are 5 components for a school lunch. So you put 3 or 4 of them into that grab and go and have your beverages on the side, which is usually milk or juice. Or milk and juice, they're separate components.
Is there any other questions?
I operated the Brentwood School District with 20,000 students.
Wow.
The Sachem School District with 15. No, I was in Sachem for 17 years and we had 15,000 students. We started there serving about 5,000. When I left, we were serving 9,000. Yes, I moved to Brentwood. They needed my help in Brentwood.
So you basically just, you get them started and then you move on to your next.
I had my career in school food service. So I worked in the largest districts here on Long Island and the smallest ones.
Was it Brandon that sent you out to the local store?
I'm sorry?
Brandon, you said Sachem, not
Sachem. Yes. 15,000 students. Oh, no, Sachem had about 25% when I was operating that program.
So when you were working at Sachem, was it a loss that led to a profit or did it sustain itself?
Yes, we were self-sustaining. It took about 2 years from when I started there to bring it up to a self-sustaining. They had originally lost about, this is approximately 20 years ago, so they had originally were losing about 200,000 at the time, and then we turned that around, and every year it improved. And the last 10 years of operating was self-sustaining.
So you're talking roughly 9,000 students, give or take.
That ate.
Huh?
That ate lunch out of the 15,000.
Right, so 9,000.
Right.
And that's a $200,000 loss compared to $350 with significant changes.
Yeah.
I understand that, Linda, but it's even more scarier that it was a bigger district, probably 3,000 more than you potentially can serve.
Yeah.
At a $200,000 loss. Imagine you throw it 20 years ago. Yeah, so.
There are formulas within our industry that would tell you basically where your expenses are going and if you're within those industry standards.
So what's the average, so you have your third, fourth graders, they're standing on the lunch line, what is the average weight on the line? What should be the average weight on the line?
I would say you should be able to serve 6 to 8 children per minute.
And we know what we do? We know her? She knows how to do it.
When you're dealing with little children like that, and they sit there and go, I don't know if I want corn or carrot, or do I want an apple?
They don't know their name.
They don't know their name, sometimes the register.
So all that takes, if they were to, you had an ID for elementary to swim.
Yeah, that would make, they would know like that.
But they have to tell us what.
Also, if they don't know their numbers or how your point of sale system works,
And all their money
so
is
that
in
one takes time too.
Everybody's money is over there.
Yeah.
You gotta take the money out of the baggie. It's just, so it's a lot of students.
Okay, is there any other questions from the audience?
I actually do have another question. With the supposedly New York State covering the loss that we take when children don't pay their lunch and we have to continue to feed them, does that have anything to do with the loss of money that we have?
It actually shouldn't. The requirement is that the general fund reimburses the school lunch fund for any outstanding balances.
We don't get that back.
Our general fund, our taxpayer dollars pay it.
That was approximately, I think I got the number, don't quote me on it, it was around 19,000.
Why don't we get the money from
For student write-off. And I did ask about the overtime, and that was roughly 3,000. We had $3,000 of overtime.
We don't get overtime.
Somebody did,
We get
$3,000
extra
worth.
time.
Somebody got $3,000 in overtime.
We don't get paid time and a half. Shifts that people aren't there for.
I asked the business official a specific question. How much overtime did the lunch department have last year? And I might give you the exact number of 3,000. It was around a ballpark of 3,000, maybe 2,700, 2,800. But that was my answer to my question.
No, I understand that, but we don't get time and a half. Are you saying overtime? Like time and a half is overtime to me.
Can you understand? You got the
I
number?
don't know if there's, I think it's around 3,000, I said,
Yeah, so how did you come to that number?
the number in what?
Well, she's saying that it wasn't a time and a
I think the
half.
definition of.
We don't get time and a half.
I think it's extra hours, but not a time and a half.
So that 3,000 you told me was, extra hours.
I thought
Extra
so.
hours, not
All
overtime.
right, so then I misinterpreted.
Okay.
So it's 3,000 in extra hours.
Okay, can I say something?
In 180 days.
We have a very, very lack of subs, especially last year. How many subs did we have for how many buildings? And there are people that work morning shift, and if you have to cover an afternoon shift and possibly go to another building, then you lose money if you shut down that area. So do you shut down the area and lose the money, or do you pay the person to go work that area?
Right.
There's the extra time.
Yep.
Honestly, I didn't think $3,000 was a lot.
Yeah, well, that's pretty low.
That was very low. I mean, to $350,000, that's not the,
That's not the problem.
That's not.
yeah, that's not the problem.
Your
Yeah,
hours are not.
yeah, that's not the problem.
So how do the children that are in debt?
Roughly $19,000 is a write-off with student, and
That is
it's
due to the meal change.
Yeah, exactly. It's about 19,000. Again, it's not the 350. So even if I take these two items, say they're roughly $23,000, $22,000, 350. It's not even half. It's not even a third. It's pretty significant.
Without looking at your expenses, I really can't give you where.
No, I understand. So I was trying to think of what it is, but it's, I don't want to get hung up on the 350, I really don't. I just want to make sure that the kids are eating. Like when I go to the lunch programs and I go to visit kids, I want to see that they like what's on their plate, that, you know, that they're not taking a chicken nugget and throwing the rest of the garbage.
Have you ever conducted a survey with students and parents?
Have we? I don't think we have.
We did, we definitely did when since first started. I don't know how often it happens, but I know that we've done it at least once.
What, the parents?
Yeah, we had a survey when we since first started their service, but I'm not sure how often it happens.
Wait, how long ago was that?
So you just say, I'm missing my first shift of contract.
On the letter. Exactly, so I mean, you can't sit there and say you did a survey 10 years ago. I know the survey.
Winston's met with kids last year. Christine went around to a bunch of different schools and met with different students to get different ideas for lunch, and we implemented, I think, almost everything.
We sat down with the principal and like 4 or 5 kids. I contacted all the principals, only 2 got back to me. And we sat down with the kids and the principals and discussed what they like, don't like, what they want to see. And they started telling their friends, look, you see her, she added this because of me. So they were getting into it.
So since you've had that conversation starting in September, have you seen, I know there's going to be waste, obviously there's going to be waste, but has the waste lessened?
They seem like they're getting better. I mean, when we do a new vegetable, we offer a sticker. It sounds silly, but they want the sticker. We do Lucky Trade Day on a new item day, so they'll want to win their free snack, and they'll buy the item maybe they wouldn't buy on another day to get that snack. They are. I mean, right now, this week alone, we're up 782 lunches from where we should be. That's just this past week. I just did all the numbers today. So it's, and then for September, that's kind of rare. So it's going the right way right now.
When you mentioned 700, is that one specific school or?
No, that's all 10 together.
This
Last
one.
week, we're up 782 from where we should be. And for September, that's pretty good. Usually September is lower, because kindergarten's scared, kids in new buildings are a little nervous to walk up. So that's pretty good. Even today, we did, Arlene, the high school, made fresh pancakes, and we had fresh blueberries, fresh strawberries, and whipped cream, of course. And they were going crazy over it.
Is that all the schools, or is that?
That was at the high school. We just did that at the high school today. I had sent pictures to Larry, too. We started a new protein box, you know, like Starbucks sells, where they usually have an egg and hummus, or yogurt, sesame seeds. We just started that today, too, at the high school grad so they can take it. If they play sports or something afterwards, it'll stay. It's the sealed packaging. It's something else. You know, we're trying to get more kids to come up and try new things.
The elementary school, you have no problem, all right?
The elementary's doing pretty good. Sycamore, they do 207 meals on Friday. There's 3 women working there. That's a lot for 3 women.
Is there anything we can do to minimize waste? Like I just was saying, I know New Jersey does it. I'm just trying to figure it out. Is there anything we could do, like a shared table, but without intruding on it? I don't know what the rules are, that's why. Like without going along with
Allergies. There's dairy allergies.
The juice, the stuff that's packaged, we're just throwing in the garbage. We couldn't do something like a table that's, I would think, and I thought, with the kids that have allergies, I thought that they had to sit at a certain table. Or is that just in middle school?
They don't hold
Oh, I see, right? But I don't know how it works in elementary.
It depends what kind of an allergy. In the high school, there's an airborne peanut allergy, so you have to be really careful. There's no peanut butter served in the high school. It's a sun-up butter. And I know Basti has 2 severe allergies right now, so the kids are not buying snack in kindergarten because the principal doesn't want anything to get cross-contaminated. So it depends what building. So an allergy table, the shared table, if somebody grabs something they shouldn't. I mean, maybe the upper levels try it where they know
That's what
that
I'm
they
saying, like
shouldn't.
maybe at like 3rd, 4th, 5th, and middle school. I'm just saying something that we can do to try to eliminate some
Yeah,
issue.
try it.
And these kids that don't, you know, when you have 1 good meal a day at school, if they're still hungry and their free meal only consists of 1 milk or 1 of this or 1 of that, if they want another one, and now, 2 kids sitting next to them are throwing it away, and it hasn't even been touched, it's kind of like one of those touchy subjects, they throw it away.
A lot of kids will be.
You don't want to mess with the health of it, but.
The other thing to realize too is if you're under offer versus serve, that they don't have to take all 5 of the components. So you can also do an education on, you have to have 3, one of them being a fruit or vegetable, so that they don't take more than they'll eat.
That's what we do.
Most of them take a juice.
You know, that's fresh offer versus serve, that was the reason why that was instituted, was to cut down on plate waste.
And honestly, from when I started, and I've been almost 13 years, when I started, the kids used to just put stuff on the before offer versus serve. They just put it on the tray, and they take it, you know, and we saw a lot of waste. As the years have gone on, as the kids have gone through elementary school and come up to middle school where I am, a lot of them are saying, yeah, I'll take that broccoli. I'll take those beans, because they're
That's because they
learning
started
about it.
roasting the broccoli instead of boiling it.
And they're learning about it more in elementary school and coming up and wanting to eat the stuff. So as far as waste, you know, we're always going to have waste because of the offer versus serve, and we have to have a certain number of components on that tray. Whether they, in order to get reimbursed, we have to put, it has to be there. So, you know, some of them are probably still saying, well, you know, I'll take the juice, but I'm not going to drink it, so it's going to go in the garbage. You know?
Well, that's what I was just thinking, is there any way to?
If we don't do that, then we have to charge them as an a la carte price.
First you have to get a hold of what is your actual waste, and what is going in the garbage. And that takes time to research that, to study it, just to see what's happening.
That's something that we do.
Oh, yeah. The other point, can I ask another question? How much did we write off in uncollected last year?
19,000.
19?
Approximately, I'm going high end. It's probably 17 and change. I'm rounding up.
Which is still a very small portion of the grant. I'd like to know where the money
Is it equipment, like how much like is equipment repair? Because I know we've had a lot of issues with equipment.
Is equipment taken out of that code?
No, that's in the code, repairs are in the code.
They're all in that code.
Some-
We just did some brand new kitchens. I don't think it could be that much.
Oh, absolutely.
The
energy.
All
the equipment's been like,
Brand new equipment.
It's like 4 or 5 years now, and it gets used every day, a lot.
That's what we need to find out. How do we find that out? Do we hire somebody to do that? You do something like that?
No, I think the business department can figure that out.
We can do it.
Yeah, but is this 350, is that part of equipment list? I didn't get that impression.
It really is involving the sales you have, the staffing you have, not just food.
Right, so it's not equipment.
It's with everything, it's in person.
Right, exactly.
It's not? Wait,
No, it's equipment, something different only.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Any more questions from the audience?
No, just more of a comment. Honestly, everything Nancy said is pretty much what we're doing. So I don't really see much of a difference other than not having the company. It's really what we're doing.
If you're doing the same thing, then we have to figure out where the horse is.
Right, but I'm saying everything she mentioned, we're doing.
We're doing it, but you need to find out where the.
Right, no, I understand what you're
So
saying,
the
but
cost
she
is
didn't
from
come up with some
contract or
brand
is it
new
coming
idea
from
that,
somewhere else?
that we're doing it all.
Still $300,000.
I understand that. I understand.
I mean,
She didn't come up with some different idea that we haven't already done. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's what we need to figure out. I mean, as taxpayers in the community, you would expect us. We see.
I'm a taxpayer too in this community.
Yeah, so if you expect the Board of Education, if they see a significant loss in the department, you want to just make sure that we're doing our due diligence to find out what that is. Thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate it. So, Dr. Adams, do you think that you can arrange with the board's schedule, whoever's available, to maybe do some lunch tours? I guess provide us a couple of dates and then we'll narrow down which board members can attend what days. We're moving on to public comment. Anybody have any questions? I think you had your public comment. I didn't know if you were having any questions outside of the lunch program. Okay. All right, so any concerns, questions from the board? Okay, Ms. Kennedy?
Anyway, my question is, I know two students that died, they're not students anymore, they're Connect Park graduates. One my son's age, approximately 34, of course heroin. And then another friend of mine, once he graduated, he's graduated at Connect Park. Another one died, heroin. So I know some of the things we've tried do not work because we're not getting the attendance. But I do think we're going to have to do a little bit more, more educating, you know, and I'm going to still pester with Dr. Dewey in 6th grade because that's where it starts in middle school. It doesn't start in elementary school. You can talk to them blue in the face, they don't get it. But once they're starting with their peers in middle school in that awkward age, if we don't reach them, then reaching them, I think, actually at the high school. It's good, but not that great.
We went last year to, what was that? We went to, they did the stick.
That was great.
That was at the theater.
Yes.
That was excellent. Yes, they did a stick of a piece of it.
That's a high school thing.
That was a
They
thing.
brought that to the high school.
Right.
The entire high school saw
But,
it.
That was excellent.
once again, I'm talking about,
We could, but I came and asked if we could do that in the middle school too.
Well, we did that in the high school last year. Every
Right.
high school student saw it.
But I said to them, we should open it up to the middle school too, when I spoke to you. It was something that would be nice to start in the middle.
right, but I also think it's a little more serious, we have to get a little bit more serious about it. And once again, I'm gonna say, bring the parents in with the kids and start with Dr. Dewey and then work from there. And I've been asking, and I'm hoping that it happens this year, because, you know, our kids, we have vaping now, we just don't have, you know, marijuana, it's vaping, and whatever else they're doing. It's serious.
We just interrupt for a second. We couldn't agree more. Ms. Sancho and I have had some preliminary conversations over the last week or two about getting Dr. Dewey back and other drug and alcohol awareness activities that we can bring to our students, whether it be in the middle school or even in some of our health classes as well.
In the health, but yeah, well, that's where I wanted the other thing, but I'm not going to talk about that now. But it has to be parents also, because parents don't know how to act. Parents don't know what to say. Parents don't know what to do. Parents don't understand it. Parents don't understand what happens to the brain. They don't understand it. But if they have to come see it with their children, they will understand it. And who's going to talk to them? Their parents.
Agreed. We are looking at different parent components.
You know, so I think there, you know, something has to be done. And not just one thing. We have to, you know, take it a little bit more seriously, I think, at this point, because there are too many new things on the market. That's all.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you.
Any comments, questions from the board? Okay, I'm asking for a motion and a second to adjourn our meeting. Motion. All in favor? Aye.